Welcome to Above the Rim, presented by the Ballers. I'm Jay, joined by Monk,
How you doing?
and we're here to break down the latest news. David Lee expected to sign with Dallas Mavericks, kind of like Amari Stoudemire did last season. It was a buyout with the Celtics last season. Amari Stoudemire did it with the Knicks, and Amari Stoudemire helped the Mavs title hopes zero. I think we're expecting David Lee to do the same. Would you agree?
Yep.
What does David Lee bring to the Mavericks, do you think?
A 6'10" fat guy.
No. Do you still think he's that 20-10 guy? Golden State?
No, he will never be even close to that again. I don't think ever. I think he is done. I think he's pretty much washed up.
All right. Other news: the Miami Heat struggling of late because of kind of the injury history with their stars. Chris Bosh reportedly has blood clots again. Kind of a sad story for him. Hope he gets healthy soon. But apparently he's going to be back sometime in the next 3 months. So that'll put them in the second or third round of the playoffs. And I don't think the Heat are getting there without him. Also, Dwayne Wade had an MRI today. They came back negative, so hopefully we'll see him back soon. And Hassan Whiteside is kind of seems like he's always injured or either suspended. So what do you think Miami is the problem in Miami? Do you think that they're kind of on the decline of their title hopes, or do you think they still have a chance?
I think they still have a chance. I mean, they're still winning games. It's just whether, people like Luol Deng, Justice Winslow can continue to pick up the slack and win these games without these stars there every single night. I mean, the past couple games, Luol Deng has been absolutely incredible and shot extremely well, but can he continue to do that? And is he really that good? Or is he just good for, these few games because he's been so well rested all season?
Right, Bosh, Wade, and Whiteside all out for that game. He had 35.
Yeah, and tonight he did do well again. But Whiteside was there too. So, I mean, can the two of them lead them to a championship? Obviously, I think the answer is no.
Right,
but can they lead them to, an Eastern Conference top, 2 or 3? Probably. I think they could.
Well, if the news is that Bosh is out for the season and Wade misses some time with his knee here, do you think it's time for Miami at the end of the season, if they miss the playoffs, is it time to kind of start moving in a different direction?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think they're kind of forced to. They're going to lose Whiteside. We've talked about that.
I think there's probably 85% chance to lose Hassan.
Yeah, I mean, I would say
just
even higher than that.
Just based on the fact that other teams are going to pay him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, definitely I think they'd have to go in another direction. The only thing is I don't know what direction they're going because I don't know where they're going. I mean, they have Kevin Durant who's going to be a free agent.
They're definitely trying to get Kevin Durant.
They definitely like to see that happen, but even then, if Wade and Bosh are out, can Kevin Durant carry a team on his own?
Right.
I mean, we've never really seen it without Westbrook there. And to be honest, I think Westbrook did carry the team better by himself than Durant did, in his time out. So I don't think Durant could carry a team. And so at that point, you have to start asking questions. Is it worth getting rid of Bosh or Dwayne or both? Or I feel like Dwayne's not going to want to go. I feel like he's going to want to stay.
Yeah, I feel like Dwayne's going to want to stay.
Career, yeah.
But I mean, if a team, the Lakers were interested in him the previous offseason, if a team offers Dwayne Wade more money than the Heat and he has an opportunity to win, say Cleveland gives him a lot of money with their TV deal, I think he would strongly consider leaving Miami. Just based on the fact that they kind of didn't pay him what he's worth in his prime. And now that he's not in his prime, he wants to make up for it by getting big contracts now that he quite honestly probably doesn't deserve, but for what he did for that franchise, bringing them, 3 championships, he's looking for that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously if Cleveland offers him something, pretty decent for a package, I think he'll definitely go there. We all know he loves LeBron. They're extremely good friends.
Also the Knicks with Carmelo Anthony,
yeah,
another good friend of his,
too.
or the Clippers. So those are the 3 teams I think he would consider. But let's get moving on here. What team do you think benefited from the trade deadline the most?
Oh, jeez.
There was so many teams, so many moves, but If you had to
There's a lot
pick one
going
team,
on.
if you had to pick one team, what would it be?
I think in the long run, Orlando, honestly, probably was the winner. I think they made some good moves that may not help them this year, but I think Ilyasova still has a lot in the tank and can become better. I think, Brandon Jennings obviously has not even close to reach his potential in the NBA. I think he could develop to be an elite guard. And, maybe they take him and move Depot or
Alfred
Peyton or somebody like that.
Or Evan Fournier
And,
as well.
or Evan Fournier, yeah. And, move one of them and then make room for Jennings to slide in there in the offseason. So I definitely think they did a business deal, and whereas it gives them more options in the future instead of, tying down what they can do.
Yeah. Also, they got rid of Channing Frye's big contract, so that'll help them. That'll definitely help them this offseason trying to sign free agents. I think the winner was the Detroit Pistons, who made a trade with the Magic. The Tobias Harris trade, definitely, I think that was a trade for both sides. As you mentioned, the Magic did get better. Tobias Harris came off the bench, scored 21 points, immediately contributing to the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons are going for it all, I think. They're trying to make a push this season. They're not waiting for free agency. They're saying, hey, let's get him now. Tobias Harris is still 23 years old, very young. I was a little surprised Orlando got rid of him, but definitely a great addition for the Pistons. They also got Monty Eunice and Marcus Thornton from the Rockets. Definitely a good move there. They definitely got a lot better, and it's going to be fun to watch them play in a couple of years and to see what they do this season. So I think they're going to win. Other people would say maybe the Wizards are a winner. Would you say the Wizards are a winner? They picked up Markieff Morris. Some would say head case. Some would say great player. What do you think?
I think, short term, it is pretty much. I don't think it really helps them much. I think it's just kind of.
He is young. They have that.
Yeah,
going
I
for
mean,
him.
I think in the long run, it definitely could work out to be an extremely good deal if he plays out to his, what he was expected to be a couple years ago. They thought he was gonna go, really high, but now he's. I mean, you don't know what he's gonna do, just because you don't know if it was because he was upset in Phoenix that he was playing so bad, or if he really, truly that's his skill set and he was giving it all he's got. So that one's definitely a time will tell type of.
Yeah, time will
You can't
tell.
really tell.
One thing that is a plus, if he does not work out, he is making only $8 million, which is very cheap. Now with the new TV money kicking in, Damari Carroll, you might remember, is making $15 million, and I think Markieff is a better player than Damari Carroll overall. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on there.
I think the Suns overall win that trade though because
Right.
they picked up that pick,
Right?
and I think that another pick is going to be huge for them.
Yeah, it will.
I think they have
'Cause
a lot.
I think
of
the Suns are
options.
definitely in rebuild mode.
Definitely
Looking
yeah.
in the future, I think you're going to see Brandon Knight kind of shift to the point guard, and Eric Bledsoe is going to quietly, I think, be pushed out the door a little bit. I think they're going to shop him around in the offseason, try to make a trade. I just don't see Bledsoe in that team's future winning.
Really.
You know what I mean? I feel like Brandon Knight, they just signed him in the offseason. He's still very, very young. And, Eric Bledsoe's that guy that, he looked like he was the guy, but, the injury kind of puts in perspective that maybe they should get a little younger, look for some, more like, futuristic prospects, trying to get better in the future. Because Bledsoe's good now. You might want to cash in on him and get some future assets if you want the future to be bright.
Definitely, yeah, I could see that happening.
Okay, what teams do you think kind of struggled or made a bad deal in this trade deadline? There were some teams that, didn't maybe make a move that might be losers. But let's just break down the Grizzlies trade for Jeff Green. The Grizzlies acquired Lance Stevenson and a first-round pick for Jeff Green. And as a Grizzlies fan, I'm really hoping and praying that Lance Stevenson is the same Lance Stevenson that the Pacers had a couple years ago. And he's not the guy that the Clippers had that's averaging like 3 points or 5 points a game. And we definitely don't like to see Jeff Green go, but they did get that pick. That pick is definitely the key to this trade. What do you think? Who do you think benefited more, the Clippers or the Grizzlies?
I think short term, definitely the Clippers. I mean, Jeff Green is playing pretty well.
And I think statistically he's no question better than Lance Stevenson.
Oh, definitely,
statistically.
definitely. But I think in the long run, that pick could turn out to be huge for Memphis. I mean, they're not really in rebuilding mode, but this year they've kind of said, okay, Marc Gasol went down. You know, they haven't had a great season. So they've pretty much said, you know, let's get through this year, you know, try to get some picks, try to build our team a little bit, and then next year I think they can definitely make a push. So I think that pick is going to be valuable in the offseason to, you know, make some trades with, or we'll see what happens. But I definitely think it's extremely valuable, and I think the Grizzlies win that one.
Right. Also, I think the case of Lance Stevenson, which makes me kind of hopeful for Grizzlies fans out there. I think Lance Stevenson, the system he played in Indiana, they kind of just said, okay, here's the ball, Lance. Go do what you do, which is, you know, get to the basket, get pull-up jump shots, you know, create for yourself, create for other people, which I think made him so great. You know, he led the league in triple-doubles at one point. And then I think when he went to Charlotte, they kind of played a different style. The Clippers, you look at how the Clippers play, it looks basically, when you watch them play, it looks like all basically jump shots or lobs. When you see the Clippers. Memphis is not like that. Memphis is pass and cut, a lot of driving, a lot of post-ups. I think Lance is going to fit in well with this team. Especially next season, if they keep him and Marc Gasol's back. Lance, I think, definitely has a future in Memphis if he's, you know, works hard and has a positive attitude.
Definitely, yeah, I can see it. I got a question for you, though. What do you think of this whole Cavaliers going basically all in again, signing Fry, taking his big contract, and giving up their pick?
They gave up Varejao, and they gave up a pick to Portland.
I mean, Varejao didn't really.
Right. And Varejao is expected to be waived. We'll get to Varejao a little later. But
I believe he was today.
He was waived today?
I think
so. Okay, so Varejao is a waiver. But first of all, you're looking at Channing Frye, and you're saying, oh, well, Channing Frye's not that great of a player. He is a great player. He's not a great player, but he is definitely a key player to team success, and people don't know him because he just played in Orlando and Phoenix last couple of seasons. One of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. Can stretch the floor very well. He's definitely going to help create, you know, some holes in the offense for Kevin Love to work down low or LeBron get to the rim. I definitely think he's going to have a pretty good finish to the season now, and I think that the Cavaliers have a way better chance of winning with him than they did without. Based on the fact that he's a scorer. That's what he does. He can shoot threes. He can post up. He's an underrated defender. And, you know, I definitely think that they're going to get a lot better. I didn't think they had a chance to beat the Warriors, but the Channing Frye addition, I think, definitely helps them a lot.
I think it definitely, yeah. I mean, they needed a little more defense. I think he helps there.
Yeah.
They needed a little more three-point shooting. Consistent three-point shooting, we'll put it that way. I mean, J.R. Smith, when he shows up, that's all the three-point shooting they need.
I agree.
But I think the biggest thing out of this trade is the Trailblazers winning, because they gave up a second-round pick, got a conditional first round, and Varejao.
Right.
They ended up waiving Varejao, but I mean, they basically just traded a second-round pick for a first-round pick.
Right.
So,
but they did take on
automatic winner.
They did take on the salary cap of Anderson Varejao, though.
They did, but they bought him out.
True.
And so, I mean, it's not that bad. So they put a little money into a second-round pick, and they got a first-round. So I feel like that definitely could help them. You know, they have a very good chance of being a big-name team in the future, I feel like, because they have a very strong defense. You know, Harkless is one of the best defenders in the NBA, underrated defenders in the NBA. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA. They have Damian Lillard, who has been an all-star scrub now almost 2 years in a row.
Snub, not a scrub.
And so he definitely, I think he can lead a team. Look at him this year. He doesn't have Marcus Aldridge, and they're still
he doesn't have anybody
in playoff contention. They had C.J. McCollum. That's it.
Yeah,
C.J. McCollum.
Right, but I'm talking starters last season. All four of the starters besides him left.
Yeah. Batum's gone. Aldridge is gone.
Yeah, I mean Aaron Aflalo left. Left. Damian Lillard in Portland. So
he has there is Aminu.
He's got Aminu. He's got Plumlee. He has good young pieces. The Trailblazers will be fun to watch. I think next season
they can definitely grow fast and become a very good team.
Yeah, watch out for Portland in a couple of years, but I definitely don't see them contending this year. Another trade that happened in the NBA. It was Maybe some of the trades that didn't happen surprised us, but so there were some minor deals. The Hawks were expected to move their big names in Horford and Teague, possibly even Korver. The Cavaliers are eyeing Korver. They didn't move any of them, but a lot of speculation was they were trying to pick between Teague and Dennis Schroeder to see who would be the starter, and instead they go get Kirk Heinrich, which is basically another point guard. What do you think the Hawks are doing there, picking up another point guard instead of getting rid of one of their other point guards?
I think they're just trying to bring in, and I think he's an older point guard. I think they're trying to bring in, some experience.
Yeah.
I think Schroeder is a very young point guard, and I don't think Teague really has quite enough experience to really teach them all lessons. So I almost think they brought in Heinrich to teach or help out Schroeder, and then they're going to deal Teague in the offseason, and then go with Schroeder as a starter, with Kirk Heinrich as the backup next season if he stays, and then they'll go from there. I think really that's all they brought him in for experience to help the young guys.
Yeah,
they do have a lot of young guys on the team.
Well, I don't see Teague being on the team next year past the deadline. The deadline next year, I expect Jeff Teague to be dealt at. That's the latest I see him being on the team.
Yeah, I mean, definitely I could see him in the offseason too.
Yeah, definitely. I can see him going to the Bucks. He signed an offer sheet with them a few years ago. Tried to play with Larry Drew at the time. Carter Williams for Teague, maybe that's a possible deal. We'll see. It's hard to tell.
They don't want another point guard.
Right, it's hard to tell at this point. It's hard, we can only speculate. So
I think they need probably they have Millsap, they have Horford. If they put Schroeder and Korver in, I feel like they need a defensive-minded small forward, and then they can put Cephalosha back on the bench.
Yeah.
So I think, if they can find a defensive small forward to bring in, that definitely help their playoff hopes.
Yeah, I think they need some scoring over anything else. I think Kyle Korver has to go.
Gone downhill as far as
I
scoring,
think he has to go.
But they still are a strong offensive team. Their defense is just awful.
I agree. A big name, last topic here today, a big name not being moved, Dwight Howard. All the teams that you heard him, Celtics, Hawks, Hornets, you heard a lot of teams. In the end, I heard one team reportedly had a legitimate chance to sign Dwight Howard. That team was the Milwaukee Bucks. They were going to give Greg Monroe and their first-round pick for Dwight Howard. The ultimate reason why they said no, they said that Dwight Howard would opt out and not stay in Milwaukee. Dwight Howard had no interest in re-signing in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I didn't think he would. That not much you really do. I mean, the Bucks obviously aren't playoff contention / championship contenders this year, so it's kind of useless for them to sign a name that's not going to stay. So
yeah, it's a big name to sign.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's definitely not the 2020 Dwight Howard anymore, but he's still the 12, 14 Dwight that we've come to kind of take for granted. But Dwight Howard looking to win a title. Don't think it's going to happen there.
Unless Houston shows up.
Houston's not even in the playoff picture, so Houston's not winning this year. So
they're not right now, but they could. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, so we'll see. Dwight Howard, do you think he's a top 25 player in the league?
I'd say definitely top 50.
Yeah.
Top 40 to top 25 might be a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But
he's definitely still a good player.
He's definitely, if he's healthy, he's top 15.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's just always dealing with some injury.
Right.
And so I think that holds back his potential way, over the line. And so he just can't get back to where he was. So.
Yep, I agree. A lot of big names, a lot of big things, but I think that's what we have today.
I think that's about it.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to Above the Rim, trade deadline conclusions, and we'll catch you next time.